We're going to talk about the difference here between making a mistake and a premeditated crime. Many of the things that I have given people the benefit of the doubt on, um, the evidence shows that I was wrong to do so. I apologize if my words aren't coming out right. I'm exhausted. I'm frazzled. Uh, I miss Zyler, and I miss Tara, and I miss Eric, and I miss my mom, and I miss my dad. When I told them that I missed them, it didn't really make any difference. My mom, I had to cut her out of my life when I cut her out of my life the first time when I was 15. 16, sorry. She did some pretty horrible things with a sex offender named Doug Cowden, who stole a lot of my money. And, well, every time that I needed help in my life, I knew that my mom would just take advantage of me. I knew that Eric was just going to look the other way. That's my older brother. So let's get to false accusations. What's the difference between Seth, who I stick up for, and the situation with Shelly? Or y'all want to probably make a comparison? With Shelly's victims, I'm not interested in telling their story. I don't want to tell their story. I want them to tell their story. I'll screw it up. You know I make mistakes. Everybody does. Now, the difference between making a mistake and committing a criminal act. Let's say you make a mistake. That mistake gets somebody hurt. But you don't want to tell the truth. You don't want people thinking less of you. But it's not premeditated. You just made a mistake. Now, given the evidence that I've got, the actual paper evidence, I at this point, I don't even need any of the body cameras or any of the facility cameras from inside of the jail. I've already got enough replies from these deputies and from Lieutenant Silvera to show that I've been telling the truth about that situation. Their own words are what condemns them. Their own words. Natalie Bollinger hated that. After being treated that way for over a year, trying to get a court date against Tim Beeson, trying to get a mediator or someone to speak up and say, hey, this is actually happening. Do you think Tim Beeson, who our messages are up on my Facebook, do you think Tim Beeson told Natalie Bollinger what he was doing to me? By his own admission in those messages, he admitted that he hadn't told her. When I tried to speak up about it, oh, well, all of a sudden I'm targeting this guy is what he wants to claim. No, I want him to leave me alone. I want him to stop calling me at the butt crack of when the hell ever. You have any idea how much it sucked that there I was in Chapel, Nebraska, a town that has been historically shitty to me? I look far too Jewish for a racist KKK town. I'm going to pause this for just a second. I'm going to show you some articles from Chapel, Nebraska. Right here. This is the town I was living in Chapel, Nebraska. 2016. That's the year that I went to visit Natalie in Virginia. So it says in 2016, dozens of historical Ku Klux Klan robes and hoods were discovered in the attic of a building in Chapel, Nebraska, which housed the dual county attorney's offices. The items, along with KKK pamphlets, offered insight into the organization's significant presence in Nebraska during the 1920s. Yep, there's more than one article about it. This is the Omaha World Herald. Let's take a look at this one if it loads up quickly. From an attic in Chapel, Ku Klux Klan robes, bits of Nebraska history, and a mystery. Oh, come on. All right. Here we Oh, come on. Great. From an I apologize. I don't have an account with the Omaha World Herald, so it's not wanting to let me see it unless I spend $5.99 for 1 month. So we're not going to do that one. There's also the Star Herald, SC Now, North Platte Telegraph. That's Chapel, Nebraska. Now, what tends to go along with the KKK nowadays, and the image of the KKK, and your idea of the KKK? Well, in Chapel, Nebraska, after that article came out, um, they made a 52-foot by 100-foot American flag on the side of their grain bin. Oh, come on now. Yeah. Yeah. They're not racist anymore. They put up an American flag. So the thing with Miss Shelley, what I have to do is try to get the other victims to work together because it's a lot of us out here taking this. A lot of us. And these people who want to make accusations are the victims. The people who wanted to make accusations against Seth were not the victims. Now, don't get me wrong, I struggled with it all day yesterday. I struggle every day with the fact that I'm having to go to addicts for help because, and all sorts of different addicts. Many people are addicted to different things. Some people are just addicted to being mean to somebody. As long as they have someone to be mean to, they're happy. As long as they got somebody to scream at when they're drunk, they're fine. Now, the thing is that I believe his name is Francis Torelli. You got to hear him. Now, when I told Russell the things that I was being told by the other folks out here on the street about the situation with Shelley, there's two different sets of accusations there. One of them is course, me getting told that she's doing drugs with people, and the other one is, of course, the situation with people like Mr. Torelli. I'm not going to say that his allegations are unfounded. I don't know her well enough to make any straight up accusations of heroin use. What I do know is that a lot of the stuff that I end up being told out here on the streets, a lot of it does end up being true. I mean, look at the situation with Ray Rao, the former police chief here. In the case of my wallet going missing, I wasn't even sure there was a victim in that. And certainly the people wanting to fill my head with, hey, dude, it's not in there. Dude, that dude straight up stole your shit. Or, man, you know what? I wouldn't put it past him. Or the ones who wanted to tell me stupid stuff, like really stupid stuff, like, I know he took it from you. Now, those people, you want to guesstimate your personal belief, whatever. But if you're going to straight up accuse somebody, I want to hear it. If you're going to accuse somebody of stealing from me, you didn't see any evidence, you didn't hear any proof of it, so where's this accusation coming from? Right? And all yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I have had lots of situations like this where I got my stuff took. Lots of them. And with these people pounding that stuff into my head, it's kind of like the situation with Natalie Bollinger. I mean, her predators are still in her life at that point in time. That whole year after I left Virginia and didn't want to have anything to do with any of them, I'm being told, hey, you know what? It's just like when you're a kid, when you're being bullied. What do? You go to the bully, you tell him how it makes you feel, and you ask him to stop. But what do you do if your bully doesn't want to hear it? Now, also, we're told to go to, if the bullying is over a rumor, go to the source of the rumor. Now, how many times have I been stolen from, disrespected? When I say that I shouldn't have to rely on addicts, there's a reason. A lot of people have just the most wonderful ideas. The most wonderful ideas of what they're going to do until their addictions get in the way. I spoke about that with Alexander. I spoke about that with Christian Alexander. So when something goes missing, and I tell them that something's gone missing and I want help looking for it, just keep an eye out. Keep an ear out in case somebody else found it. That's not hurtful. That doesn't mean, oh, well, where'd you have it last? Well, I remember having it in my tent. Has anybody else been in your tent? Well, now I don't want to answer that question. No, I don't want to tell you the name of the person who came to help me because now I got to listen to all this crazy stuff. And it's not really all that crazy given the history of exactly those things happening to me. But at the same time, when those other people disappeared with my stuff, I knew exactly what they'd done. It wasn't a situation where, we just happened to be in the same space together. It was a situation where these people straight up asked for help, wanted to contact their families, and what ended up happening out of that? Stolen computer, stolen phone. I got the phone back by buying that girl a different phone after she'd stolen from me and the police wouldn't do anything. When my computer was stolen the first time, different computer, I actually got it back. That's because a lot of the homeless people out there Well, a lot of us, about 80% of us, are out here on the streets because we were victimized into homelessness. We don't tolerate child molesters. We don't tolerate rapists. Straight up. Move on, son. But the problem is, even though that keeps us safe, all of us safe, the less child molesters in our ranks that we have, the less the public gets to pretend that we're all child molesters. And you guys don't recognize that. You don't want to recognize that. And you've already decided our guilt. We also have to deal with that from other homeless people. You know, the abuse that he would get for stealing from another homeless person is pretty severe. Now, there's one thing you never steal from a homeless person, and that's their ID. Never steal a homeless person's ID. What the hell is wrong with you on that one? Now, let's take a look at the situation here. There was no victim in this situation as far as I go. On the other hand, even those accusations are a damper on Seth's reputation, his already shitty reputation. Now, I don't know how much of that he deserves and how much it don't, but I know he didn't steal from me. But, of course, very similar to Natalie's situation, Natalie's had a lot of horrible men in her life. And when she went back to those drugs, those are the men that were giving her those drugs. And those men wanted to try to make her paranoid, all this, that, and the other. She didn't need to be scared of me, obviously. And I was scared of her for good reason. People like Tim Beeson wouldn't leave me alone. And she didn't care. As far as she was concerned, I didn't know who Tim Beeson was until I was stalking her. No, I wasn't ever stalking her. I did the things that I was told to do by police officers, by sheriff's deputies, by therapists, by attorneys. All of them got a different idea. And then, of course, I got to try to get help from my friends. And this is the universal thing between the attorneys and the, God, what do you call them? Basically, having to have a family member go in with you. The disability people, the ones who are supposed to advocate for you in Nebraska, one of the things they're supposed to know is the risk factors of all of this. This is the stuff they're supposed to know so they can help us. If they didn't retain any of that knowledge, they need to not work the job. I've had to deal with abuse everywhere that I go over assumptions of guilt based on rumors and lies and slander and basically the game of telephone. When you got four people in between you and the person you have to communicate with, and you have to go up this chain of command, but you're not going up the chain of command. No, you're telling the lowest guy on the totem pole who tells you he has no power. He has no power over and over and over again. And he's supposed to tell his superior, who's supposed to tell his superior, and by the time it gets to the top, it's not even close to what I said, is it? It wasn't like that in school either. If you said something, it didn't go all the way around the circle and come back to you and exactly word for word what you had said to begin with. And that's why there needed to be one person involved who was actually listening to me. And before it got this complicated, and this is the thing with the cops, is that they were able to force this situation all the way back when Natalie was killed. They were able to force this situation by forcing me into a constant state of panic, into a state where I'm just constantly overwhelmed. The number of assaults that I received, the number of people telling me that I had people telling me that there were multiple homeless people in Denver and on the outskirts of Boulder who were killed for looking like me. So, yeah, I was taking that stuff very seriously. And people had been threatening to kill my friends and family for over a year by the time Natalie was killed. Literally threatening to kill my friends and family. Not just Tim Beeson. And even though there's the evidence of that, and even though I showed that evidence to the investigators in Natalie Bollinger's case, is that what they post up for you guys to see? Do they show you how afraid I was for Natalie? You know, I got so many friends that wanted to be so special that I was going to just forget about the stuff that they had done because they wanted to say, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids. Oh, there are so many other people with kids who are also very much involved in this situation, who are actually trying to help. But then, how were they trying to help? Were they people in houses telling me what to do, or were they people on the streets telling me nothing's going to work? You got one or the other. People in houses don't actually help us how we need. See, the vulnerability of the term mentally ill means that we can't speak for ourselves. Nobody's going to listen. They've already decided that we're mentally ill. Now, you guys have gotten to see over the last few days a lot of evidence showing that I'm not making false accusations.